there's been some inquiries about a meeting that you held last year. How was it appropriate to have that meeting with your daughter and key decision makers in her application at that time?
So will you tell the truth this time?
I'll say what you.
Will you?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell the truth of the story because I've been very clear and spoken to this before, and we've communicated with you directly that my daughter at no time received special treatment. In fact, she went through the same process several others did as well. But we all know that we are short of appraisers here in the state of South Dakota. And for years and decades, we've had people trying to buy houses or buy property, or realtors and bankers and even appraisers themselves that have said that the program in South Dakota needs to be fixed. I came in to fix the program. And so we are fixing it, but also we recognize that some people that have been involved in the industry for a long time don't like that, because the program before required that appraisers train their competition. And it limits their ability to put more dollars in their pocket. But regardless, we need appraisers, we need a fair system, and that's my determined goal. The one thing I'd appreciate is if you make sure that when you're quoting people in your stories, that you're vetting them, that you're making sure you're not only quoting one individual who's contributed to every single political opponent that I've had in the past, and that when we give you facts and give you people you can speak to print the facts, that you will choose to print that as well, especially when you've promised, and especially when your response back to us is completely unacceptable, that it's simply not newsworthy to print the facts. This story is been twisted and has been manipulated, and there's an agenda behind it, and I would appreciate it if our media would make sure that they're going forward and telling the truth and all the facts when they talk about them.
How is it appropriate to have that meeting? Multiple ethics experts have raised concerns.
And my Secretary of Labor answered all these questions, and that meeting was about fixing the appraiser program.
But that meeting also touched on your daughter's application for a
That
license.
meeting was there to talk about fixing the appraiser program and what we needed to do to make sure that we were going forward in a way that got us more appraisers in the state of South Dakota.
And that didn't raise any ethical concerns for you?
To talk about fixing a
To
program
have your daughter
that
in a
needed to
meeting
be
with key
fixed?
decision makers?
She was there speaking to the program.
And her license was pending before the program?
No, the decision was already made on her path forward, and let me be clear, Stephen, and print this. She went through the exact same process that other appraisers did in the state of South Dakota. She at no time received special treatment.
So were you aware that an agreement had been reached before the meeting?
We didn't even talk about that. So
Your Secretary of Labor said that you talked about it.
talked about her, my daughter.
Her application during the meeting.
We could, but the program was talked about at that day, how we were going to reform the program. The meeting was not to discuss her.
But your Secretary of
She
Labor
gave her
said,
personal experiences through the program. Of course, she gave her perspective and how long it took to go through the program and how difficult it was. But I would also challenge you to go talk to other people in the state that have indicated for years. We have letters of the entire congressional delegation that have said that this appraiser program here in the state of South Dakota was a problem, but also in the country, and that it needed to be fixed. So for years, even when I was in Congress, people would travel to Washington, D.C. to ask me if there's anything I could do to help fix the appraiser program here in the state of South Dakota. So it's been a program that's long been broken, and it has limited the amount of appraisers, which drives up costs for families here and makes it very difficult to do day-to-day business.
why?
And she makes sure you focus on the fact that my daughter was not treated differently. She at no time received special treatment. She went through the same process that several other individuals in the state went through.
So if any of those other individuals had requested a meeting with your Labor Secretary and yourself and the head of the
I
department,
meet
you would
with
have
people
accommodated
every
that?
single day. In fact, I bet I've had 7 or 8 meetings with individuals in the state of South Dakota just today.
Have you had
So-
any regarding their appraiser application?
Yes, many. Why, do you think I go into this without having conversations with people over the years about the program? Absolutely. I have for years. Anybody else?
When this,
Yes, Jim?
I'd just like to back you up a little bit here.
I spent over 2 years working with Tom Hart in your office for a constituent who was having the same types of problems, except he was an experienced appraiser who, with the medical and so on, had to reapply, and it took him almost 2.5 years. He happens to be a committee man of the other party who said he would speak to anyone in your defense on this and how broken that program has been.
Well, we have referred people to Stephen, and he's chosen not to write a story about the broken program because he said it was not newsworthy. Next.
Why was,
Joe?